Everybody's doing well. Had a great weekend and a great Monday. Um, Sorry I missed you guys last Thursday and Friday, but family first, and had a great time with my daughter graduating college. So very happy about that. But let's jump into DR for today. The only thing I will say on Thursday and Friday, I was noticing like all the great DR setups that happened, and I was like, man, I'm missing those, but that's all right. More important things, right? So let's talk about DR today. Again, we had a 20 plus point range. And so here's something interesting, right? So remember we talked about that 10 o'clock when the price tends to reverse. And so I thought this was the reversal, right? This green candle right here, because at that point we're about 14 points on the DR range. I'm like, well, it's 10 o'clock, they're going to reverse it. So it did reverse a little bit, and then it actually came back down to set our range for the day, which was a good like I said 20 plus points, and then the reversal happened around 10:15. So the model still worked, right? We did reverse back off of that, but again it was a little bit later than what I thought it was going to be. So just again something to keep an eye on as you guys are looking at DR and the setup for DR. How that price moves. Okay. And if you start talking about like, ICT, silver bullet stuff, you can start looking in that 10 to 11 range and see what's happening there as well. Now, this is the 5 minute chart. I believe ICT uses like the 1 minute to do silver bullet, but, again, up to you if you want to look at that. Okay, so now it took a while for a price to confirm. We kind of just meandered throughout the day, and then, getting around lunchtime, things start to happen. So these are just trends I see, right? It may not happen every day, but a lot of days you'll see price just actually just at around 12 o'clock, 12:30, some action will happen, and then we'll start to get movement. So we actually did confirm high, around 12:45 or so, and then price kept going up. So as usual, we are waiting for the retrace, right? So not trying to rush this, just waiting for the retrace. So price does come down right before 1:30, and actually, it comes down below the DR high, right? But then the next candle comes down below the IDR high, which again is probably a quarter point difference. And so, following the rules, I put my first order right here on IDR on the high, and price did go up a little bit. It's up like about a point or two. It ain't been that much, but I'm just sitting there watching, waiting for 5 points, and then of course, we get this turnaround, and so I actually end up getting stopped out on this trade with a 3 point loss. Okay, so again, following the rules though, we expect to take losses, and it happens sometimes. Okay, so the next thing that happens is we come down here to this midnight open, and we've talked about this before, where midnight, that midnight open becomes a support or resistance a lot of times. You'll see it over here. Even here, it became a support level in the earlier part of the day. Okay, here again another support level. So price hits it once, goes back up, hits it again. Now at this point, I'm thinking, I just need to take this trade because I see it's acting as, as support for the price. So take my DR hat off for a second, and then I just grab my, kind of my, it's not even an ICT hat, it's just, following a trend, and end up getting in this trade right around 41.39. This fair value gap wasn't there at the time. I just said once it gets above this, this previous doji candle, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and see what happens. So this actually ends up giving me 7 points. So I think it was 7. Let me make sure. 41.39, and then that was 41. I think I got it right off of this candle, 41.46 maybe. So yeah, that's 7 points. Yeah, so that's what I end up getting there off of that. Right, went up on that candle, got and then take profit was hit, and then I was done. Okay, so now we're back in profit for the day. So life is pretty good. Following along, and now this is my first day back after not trading this for a couple weeks. So I was a little rusty on a couple of things. Like I said, this first trade I actually shouldn't have lost 3 points on it. I could have lost like 1 point if I really was focused like I had been before I took a few days off. So a little rusty, but again, you follow the rules, right? So price comes down here. I end up getting back in another trade on this candle right here. So right around 230. And then so this one is another one where it's like just a 5-pointer. Again, I'm using the IDR high as my kind of trigger point, correct? Every time somebody comes below this and it's starting to move back up, I can jump in here. So this one, 41.43, and that's another 5 points right there. So I've got 41.48. So there's your 5-pointer. Now this last trade, this was around right around 3 o'clock, and I did not take this one, right? Because I try to, I had to leave the office, and I don't want to be trying to drive and do this trade. But one thing you'll notice is the price comes back down here. Now it hits that DR. Didn't get all the way down to IDR this time, but it gets to DR high, 41.44. So we had a 1 point difference between DR and IDR on the high side. And then now you see there's 5 points, and you could actually add more points than that if you were kind of holding it for a little bit longer, right? So again, all in all, just a really a good DR day, if you had the patience, right? And so that was my thing. It was, all this movement here between, all the way up till like almost 12:30, 12:45. You had to be patient with this if you were doing a DR, a pure DR trade. Okay, I mean, there's things over here like you could have jumped in, some ICT. There's a fair value gap. You could have jumped in and got some points off of. But again, coming back, being a little rusty, I really wanted to focus on one strategy. Except for this move over here, because this was just, I had seen it so many times that it was like I just got to jump in and see what happens. But keeping my my stop losses tight, keeping my take profits tight, not trying to over leverage those was really helpful. And so, got some decent movement today, decent points today. It doesn't look like much, right? If you look at this whole chart, it looks like it's a pretty flat day, but there's opportunities in there for those 5 points, and even sometimes some more points. Again, once we confirm high, I'm not, there's opportunities here, but I'm not looking at that because I'm looking for it to go back high, right? And so that's the deal, right? So patience and following the rules, and that's it. So hope everybody had a great day again, and we'll do it again tomorrow and see what we end up with. All right, y'all be good.